There are families you wave to every morning without giving them a second thought. They mow their lawn on weekends, bring homemade desserts to neighborhood gatherings, smile at children riding their bicycles, and seem to fit perfectly into the quiet rhythm of suburban life. The Harris family was exactly like that. For nearly 15 years, they lived on Maple Ridge Drive, earning the trust of everyone around them. They celebrated birthdays with their neighbors, volunteered at community events, and never gave anyone a reason to question who they were. Then, on an ordinary Tuesday morning, a single knock on their front door shattered everything. Within hours, federal investigators surrounded the house, neighbors stood speechless behind police tape, and reporters arrived from across the country. The family everyone believed they knew had been living under a carefully constructed identity, and almost nothing they had shared with the community could be verified. Birth records didn't match. Employment histories contained impossible gaps. Even the names everyone had used for years led nowhere. People who had spent countless holidays with them suddenly realized they had never truly known the family next door. How does an entire family build a life in plain sight without anyone uncovering the truth? Was it a desperate attempt to escape a painful past, an elaborate deception planned years in advance, or was there another explanation that investigators struggled to understand? Those questions would consume detectives, journalists, and the community for years, because every document they uncovered seemed to raise another mystery instead of providing an answer. Before we dive deeper, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. Stay with us until the very end, because the final discovery forces everyone to reconsider the people they trust most. This is the story of the family next door was a lie. For nearly 20 years, everyone believed Daniel Brooks was exactly who he claimed to be. He was the dependable neighbor who coached Little League, attended neighborhood barbecues, and never missed church on Sundays. Then, in a single morning, everything changed. Federal agents arrived at his front door with questions no one expected to hear. The man everyone trusted had a past that couldn't be verified. Who was Daniel Brooks really? How could someone build an entire life in plain sight without anyone discovering the truth? And what was important enough to keep hidden for almost 2 decades? Stay with us, because the final discovery changes everything you thought you knew about identity. Every morning, Daniel Brooks followed the same routine. He greeted neighbors with a smile, drove his children to school, and left for work at the same time each day. His wife, Sarah Brooks, was known for organizing neighborhood gatherings, while their 2 children played freely with friends on Maple Ridge Drive. To everyone around them, they were the picture of an ordinary American family, kind, dependable, and deeply involved in their community. No one questioned their story because they had spent years earning everyone's trust, one ordinary day at a time. But when investigators began examining Daniel's past, they uncovered something impossible. There was only one problem. Almost every document connected to Daniel Brooks was fake. The first sign that something was wrong came from what should have been a routine background check. Investigators expected to confirm Daniel Brooks' identity in a matter of minutes, but instead they uncovered a trail of impossible contradictions. The Social Security number he had used for years was linked to someone else. His birth certificate could not be verified. The military service he occasionally mentioned left no official record, and the college where he claimed to have studied had no evidence he had ever attended. One by one, the pieces of Daniel's past began to disappear, leaving investigators with a question no one could answer. How had nobody noticed for nearly 20 years? Without alerting Daniel Brooks, investigators quietly expanded their inquiry. They examined his phone records, traced years of bank transactions, compared old family photographs, and reconstructed his travel history one trip at a time. Instead of exposing the truth, every new discovery created another unanswered question. Phone calls ended at unfamiliar numbers, financial records contained unexplained gaps, and several photographs appeared to place Daniel in different states during the same period. Detectives began to suspect this was no simple case of mistaken identity. The evidence suggested that someone had been helping Daniel Brooks remain hidden for years, carefully covering every trail before anyone could follow it. As investigators dug deeper, they uncovered something even more astonishing. Years before becoming Daniel Brooks, he had been living under a different identity. Then they found another name and another after that. Each identity led to a different city, a different occupation, and a completely different life. In one place, he was remembered as a hardworking employee, in another as a devoted husband. Somewhere else, people knew him by a name that had never been connected to Daniel at all. With every new identity, the mystery grew deeper, leaving investigators and everyone following the case asking the same question. Who was Daniel Brooks really? By the time the investigation reached its turning point, one question overshadowed every other. Why had Daniel Brooks spent so many years living behind identities that couldn't be traced? Rumors spread quickly. Some believed he was running from organized crime. Others claimed he had once worked as a government informant. There were even those who argued he was protecting someone close to him, while another theory suggested he was simply trying to escape his own past. Investigators separated speculation from verified evidence and focused only on what they could prove. Then they uncovered the most significant piece of evidence yet, a decades-old fingerprint record that linked one of Daniel's earlier identities to an unsolved federal investigation, changing the direction of the case overnight. After years of interviews, evidence, and countless hours chasing every lead, investigators reached a conclusion they never expected. The man they had spent so long searching for may never have existed in the way everyone believed. Daniel Brooks was simply the identity the world had come to know, but the person behind that name remained hidden beneath years of carefully constructed stories and changing identities. Every document, every photograph, and every witness account revealed only part of the truth. In the end, the greatest mystery was never finding Daniel Brooks. It was discovering the man who had spent decades convincing everyone that Daniel Brooks was real. Now it's your turn. If someone you had known for 20 years suddenly turned out to have a completely different identity, would you believe anything they ever told you? Do you think Daniel Brooks was a criminal, a victim trying to escape his past, or someone protecting a secret that was never meant to be uncovered? Share your theory in the comments. We read them all, and your perspective could change the way others see this story. If you enjoyed this investigation, subscribe and turn on notifications, because our next documentary begins with a locked hotel room and ends with one of the strangest unsolved mysteries ever recorded.